Welcome back, everyone, to Let's Play Rule the Waves, the Succession series with the historical gamer, XTRG, and myself, Tortuga Power. So this is my second tenure, which means it's the fifth phase of 6 in the lifespan of the series. I'll be playing from January 1924 to January 1930, and then we'll let XTRG finish off the series. So if you're just stepping into this video and you're not really sure what's going on, you definitely should go to the playlist, which will be linked in the description, and start watching from the beginning. I guess there's nothing really else to say, that this series won't make as much sense unless you watch it chronologically. But now we have this business of a transition to get to, and I know that maybe dramatic stuff is not really everyone's cup of tea, so if you are really more interested in the Rule the Waves, game design, all that, and you don't want any of this funny lore business that we're doing about killing characters off and all that, you might want to skip about 4 minutes ahead to about the 5-minute mark. I suspect it'll be done by then, maybe a little bit earlier, hopefully. So without further ado, though, there is some business at hand we have to take care of, which is the institution of Turtle Power, Admiral Tortuga Power's son, as the new naval director. So let's get that underway. Ahem. The evening of December 13th, 1923 was cold and dreary as the French fleet continued their exercises in the Bay of Biscay. Naval Director H.G. Jr. was overseeing to make sure his fleet was staying on top of its elite status, and indeed, it is quite elite. Aboard the flagship of the THG-2 class dreadnought, the THG-2, the staff reviewed formations and maneuvers. The top-secret tactic of the last 6 years, known only by the codename Go AI Go, was observed and critiqued. Everyone said it could never work, but they had all come around by the end of the Second Franco-Italian War. Is Admiral Turtle Power leading the second group? What a tight formation, and look at his spread, said H.G. Jr., in a deep voice, of course. Sir, that's terrible. I beg your pardon, I said his ship formation is tight and his torpedo spread is good. No, sir, I mean that's terrible. What the devil are you talking about? The ship, sir, that's the terrible. The THG-2 class terrible. Oh, well, I thought Turtle Power was on the Tortuga Power. Damn it, man, whose idea was it not to use ship prefixes? Sorry, sir, the French don't believe in those internally. French does not use prefixes internally. Make a note. In my next month or two in office, I will mandate the use of ship prefixes internally. It will be done by 1925. Sadly, H.G. Jr. never had a chance to realize that sensible dream. Later during the drilling, a live fire mishap from the XTRG era Turville sent a 12-inch shell right at the THG-2. Had it only hit anywhere but the conning tower, the bridge, where its armor was weakest. The staff was blasted with torn metal pieces, and in the carnage there was H.G. Jr. Sacre bleu. Heroically rescuing his fallen comrades. That's right, it was not yet H.G. Jr.'s day. The remainder of the month of December passed mostly without incident. Until that is the tragic day of December 31st, 1923. Survivors of the SS Poppin. Wait, the SS Poppin, you say? Ah, yes. That SS Poppin. For you see, back in April 1919, in the war, the Second Franco-Italian War, the liner SS Poppin had been sunk by the French submarines, and it was H.G. Jr. who received the lion's share of the blame for that incident. The survivors were led by a man by the name of T. Lawrence. He was here to instigate a rebellion against the naval director who cared so little for innocent lives. Could a man aboard the SS Poppin not even get a drink from a well without being killed? His right-hand man, a woman who was an Italian assassin who lost 4 brothers, a husband, and 17 lovers on sunk Italian ships. They were equipped by the Sicilian mafia, equipped with anachronistically appearing Benelli shotguns about 50 years before they were actually founded. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, the sinking of the SS Poppin, and the plotting began. And it was this night, December 31st, 1923, when the plan unfolded. A cry of, "No prisoners! I'm your Huckleberry! Remember the Alamo! I'll have what she's having! We're not in Kansas anymore! Say hello to my..." And by the last plagiarized movie quote, H.G. Jr. was dead. His fabled last words were, "Still better dead than Italian." And with his death, and the death of most other high-ranking staff on the THG-2 a few weeks before, only beloved Admiral Tortuga's boy, Turtle Power, was fit to pick up the mantle of leadership. And that brings us to my second tenure. So there we have it. The dramatic transition complete. We can begin to talk about a lot has happened in the 12 years of gameplay since my last. And I've watched every video. I don't know if everybody has that luxury to be able to watch all these videos, but it was almost like homework sometimes. I was like, oh, I got to spend a little time making sure I watch all the videos. So we have a lot of good ships, and this is really what's the good thing. I kind of made fun of the THG-2 class's low conning tower armor because, in my opinion, in general, the really minor increase in weight for higher conning tower armor is generally worth it. And I think that scales, maybe it doesn't with the size of the ship. But we have a wonderful, the Dreadnought fleet of the French Navy is top-notch. Probably the best. Probably the best in the whole world. Even if you stack it up against the British ones, we have, let me get to the bottom here. Here we go. We have this is, I think, the best British ship, Dreadnought, in existence right now, and it's 10 15-inch guns. There's nothing that this ship, it has heavier armor, but I don't think it holds a candle to the really good designs that we've had coming in the last 6 years, especially. We've poked a little bit of fun at XTRG because he scrapped a few of his ships, but honestly, that made the series quite a lot of fun, that we had somebody spinning off in a totally new direction. So that, and you have to tip your hat, that took a bit of balls. So we appreciate that. Okay, so let's go over to the US, who has reasonable dreadnoughts, 10 14-inch ones, higher armor. They're playing up the armor role as the Americans traditionally did. Who possibly can rival us? Well, nobody. I don't think that there's anybody who has a ship as good as us. And what's more, even our second best ship, the Tortuga Power, is probably better than anyone else's first best ship. So we have this really wonderful situation where the Dreadnought situation is, the Dreadnought numbers, or I don't know what I would say here. Yeah, I guess just the Dreadnought situation, it looks really good. On the flip side of the coin, the battlecruisers are rather lacking. And that makes sense. I've always found that this is the case myself. Because it seems that the other nations, the AI, tends to keep around these middle ground dreadnoughts. If you're a little bit shorter on dreadnoughts, I feel like that's par for the course. And we have 4 more building because we have some rebuilding right now. And I like to look at the tonnage, of course, because that usually tells more of the story. Now, unfortunately for us, it tells a very woeful tale against Great Britain and USA. Now, I did mention that, as a joke, of course, that T.E. Lawrence, of course that's Lawrence of Arabia, was the antagonist in the death of H.G. Jr. So I'm going to make this kind of a fun little role-play style tenure. I am going to make it a vendetta to avenge the wrongful death of H.G. Jr. at the hands of a British citizen. We're going to do... Okay, let's actually keep the intel up for most people. But I really want to do everything I can to go to war with Britain. And you may think that that's insane, but you know what? Someone's got to knock them off their high horse, and if not me, then who? So that's what we'll be doing. We'll be going to increase tensions with Great Britain at every turn. And it may be a foolish errand, maybe a crazy move, but we'll see what we can get done. I'm actually confident we might even be able to win a war against Great Britain with the fantastic ships that we have. Okay, so what's the downside? No battle cruisers, some old ships here. Let's just get these. These are from 19... What are these? 2 4-inch guns and 4 above. You know what? These are okay. I don't think we'll design them as anything different. But so our first order is just going to be to probably... Yeah, speed of 30 is fine. I'm fine with just saving these and rebuilding them. Fire control. Well, we don't have any space left. Good God, we can get director on these? No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to let them... They're just going to act as probably buffers, really, is what they're going to do. So we'll get all these to be retrofitted the same way. And what else do we have? Okay, so the foreign tonnage situation, I know that some people... This is very nice. I mean... It's nice that the foreign stations option exists with the status, but I don't understand how it works exactly, because when I was checking this, and I was, it says that we're short on West Africa, even though we do actually have some ships there. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. So I'm going to get all these guys to be taken off of foreign stations, and I'm going to do that manually, which has always been in... like my own way of micromanaging, just to do that myself. So I didn't organize these in a meaningful way. That's fine. Destroyers. It's really, we're entering the destroyer era. If you've noticed, my first term, a lot of the times, the first half of my playthroughs until like 1915, I don't build any destroyers because they're so weak in the beginning of the game, but now their time has really come. So we don't have much of a budget. I guess the first order of business is just to advance. Where do we need... So it's claiming we're missing 1,000. Where? Okay, the only way to do this is actually to check. We're fine there. Aha, the Indian Ocean is the perpetrator. So we need to get somebody to go over to the Indian Ocean. And I think these, what are these cost? Oh, these are the 7-inch guns. Okay, yeah. We want to keep those close by. So absolutely we want these older ships. They got the C for Colonial, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is the Colonial Service. Now, I'm just going to mention, I don't really prefer the Colonial Service. In my opinion, the extra weight it adds, it doesn't mean anything to me, because I'd rather just build more ships. Even if they're on foreign stations, I'd still rather have more ships than less ships who can pretend that they are more tonnage. I'm only interested in fighting battles. And if that means... So, I mean, if the foreign tonnage requirement means I have to put a few ships in different places, that's fine. I'd still rather have more ships than less ships. Because let's just, like in an absurd example, if Colonial Station allowed you to put cost, let's say 50% space, but allowed you to put, it was acted as like 50% tonnage, you would only need 2 ships at a place that would normally require 3, so it's probably less maintenance. However, you only have 2 ships instead of 3, so I'd rather just have the 3 ships. That's what I wanted to say about that. So we'll get these guys out of the Mediterranean as well. These guys will be... let me turn 1 to foreign stations and actually get 2 to move there. The reason I want 2 to move there is because we're going to get this Cosmo. I want all these guys back home. So we want 1 over there. We want 1 to go over to the Caribbean, it looks like. These Cosmos are a much better home than abroad, because they're such decent ships. Now, you might make the argument of the opposite, that, oh, maybe that's actually a really good point. That they can do raiding abroad and really handle themselves well. No, I'm going to stick to the way I want it. I want my fleet battles to be won decisively, so we'll be putting them back to Northern Europe. Yeah, which means we're going to need... Oh, so the Sardinias are covering Southeast Asia. Okay, this guy's 410. We'll piece this all together. I probably need to do this off camera in between this video and the next. So, we will end the turn? Yes. Oh god. Was this done before? The Friedland? No. So I'm going to say no, so that we're all the same class. And that's... We're still not there yet. We need to wait one more month before, but something has happened in the meantime that we've got enough money to last one more month. Battleship scare, the rising threat from Italy. No, not Italy. We're not going to war with Italy. I will do anything to avoid that. Okay, let's see. I need to put a cut in real fast. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Right back at it. So what's my first ship that I want to build? Because I think we have a few vacancies that I think the most pressing vacancies are probably battlecruiser and then light ships. And I may even go towards a light cruiser just because then we can get more people on foreign stations. And right now, I don't understand where our light cruisers are. We have 16 selected here, and like, do we really only have 16? We really only have 16. Okay. It doesn't even seem that bad compared to the other nations, though, so maybe we should just be okay with that. Alright, fair enough. Yeah, well, we don't need any more dock size. We're already at the max. I think the max is 53, isn't it? I believe. Okay, they want to buy something. It's the Austrian government. Nobody really cares about them. More weight savings, always good. So, how's our situation for foreign station now? Good. That's good. This is probably updated at the beginning of the turn, so we can probably take this at face value right now. Southeast Asia is a little globe. Indian Ocean and West Africa can both have the Cosmos move out. And that's exactly what I'll have them do. So move back over to Northern Europe. I'll just trade them off between Northern Europe and the Mediterranean, wherever I have the largest... Oh, wow, we have a whole bunch of these. And the Caribbean is also covered, I assume. Wait, does the Caribbean have a... No, there's no need for anybody to be in the Caribbean unless I want to put raiders there, which I may want to do, but I don't want to do yet. So let's get these guys to move to Northern Europe as well. And the one in the Caribbean, I'm going to get them to move to Northern Europe. How are we doing if I leave one Cosmo in West Africa just to see how they're doing? Like, what's our numbers like there? Okay, this Lavoisier can move to West Africa to cover. And we'll wait one more turn. Recent improvements in productivity have boosted our national budget. That's what it really means. People are finishing their... Oh, sell us lightweight fittings. What would that be? Lightweight fittings. It's probably... hull savings? Yeah. Okay, yeah. We definitely could use that. Alright, so this is the budget. I didn't complain about the budget because, I mean, it looked really grave, but Historical Gamer made some good points. We are going to finish the construction of these things really fast, and the budget is really mainly tied up in rebuilds right now, which is good. Now, he did also make this Devastation class really good. I think he increased the quality, increased this, improved Director. So let's just try to make the next one. I think we should upgrade the other Devastation. 1916. Yeah, it's going to be obsolete in like a year or two, so let's just get this guy retrofitted in a manner that we might like. It's going to be rather expensive, but I think it's worth it. These guys are the veterans of the Franco-Italian War. Yeah, and I would agree with that. So let's see. Do we want to do anything? I like to leave my retrofits as cheap as possible, but I guess we really do have to replace the machinery because their brethren are already up to 22 knots. Good God, I don't remember. Let's try to get them all up to the same. So these guys are going to be 22 knots. Okay, so we can do that. We can do that. Let's go replace 22. We know that that's a necessity. This is a necessity. We can drop this a bit. We're going to want to improve fire, Director. That's all looking good. I really don't want to sacrifice my torpedo tubes. I'd even be willing to sacrifice only... well, actually, at this point, they probably aren't as necessary. It's just the power of torpedo tubes are so huge. You wouldn't want to use these, right? You absolutely don't want to use them. But what I've found time and time again is that the poor weather situations are usually the ones where you end up getting the biggest results, right? Because it's close quarters and people are just blasting the crap out of each other. In those situations, it's nice to have torpedoes because you'll probably land a few hits. In the long distance fights, we don't really need. There's nothing that would stop us from winning the long range fights with this kind of guns. With these kind of guns, high quality, increased elevation. I mean, this is a dream ship. Even this one, the Devastation. I should begin my fake French pronunciations now. We could also do oil, by the way, which I guess doesn't really save us that much, but we'll just make the Devastation the flagship of the Devastation class. Since we're replacing machinery, there's no big point not to replace the fuel type. I think we're allowed to do that, right? Yeah. So it's overweight, but we can probably drop this down. I don't mind dropping it down. The better fire control you have, the more likely you are to hit. So the less shells you need overall. And of course, the last way we can get away with some kind of change here is just by reducing the number of turrets. Now, unfortunately, is this going to cost us a bunch? No, in fact, it's not. Well, in that case, we will do something like this and put this back up to 100. Yeah, that's fine. I think this is exactly what Historical Gamer did. So we ended up on the same design, except for maybe mine's oil and his is coal. I don't know. So we'll save that. There it is, the 1924, which is perfect, because then we'll know exactly whose design is whose. He's got the 23s and I got the 24s. Great, now we're still positive on balance even when we built that last one, which is really expensive. So let's think about building a new light cruiser, because we can build a new light cruiser. We can build a new anything right now. We've gotten so many good technologies, but one of the things I noticed is we have double gun turrets for our light cruisers. And this is really where the cruisers can become incredibly strong. So we'll never add these stupid secondary guns. I like to do the quality 1/6-inch guns is just, why would you do anything but that? Now, let's see. Can we get forward superimposed? Do we not have that ability? I mean, I guess not. Let's clear the turrets. See what we can add in double, of course. No, double. So forward, yeah, it doesn't look like we have forward superimposed, which is a real bummer. Okay, so then it only makes sense to do the configuration just like this. And this is still not bad. If we send them on torpedo runs, and they have 4 torpedoes per side, which is nice. So if we send them on torpedo runs, they'll be able to come back firing a lot of shells. And I like that. They will be using all or nothing armor scheme. It's not really going to matter much for them, but belt 2.5. I think that we should probably get their deck up to 2. That's going to be rather expensive, but hey, you know what? We don't need only a 4,800 ton ship. 6,000's a reasonably sized light cruiser in my opinion. Definitely not going to do cramped. Yeah, we're getting kind of everything we want out of this already. 2 on this, 2.5 if we can, and we can. Can we go to 3? We can, even better. We'll probably spend the rest of it on rounds per gun. 170, I don't think we need more than that. Ah, boy, we got a problem. We do not want short range on our... It's okay to have one light cruiser with short range, because then you just park it in your home sea zones or park it in foreign stations and it doesn't move. So is this going to be the one that we do? I'd rather have the 8-gun configuration on short range, because then you know that that one's just purely designed to stay in your home waters and dominate with torpedoes, etc. It would also be nice if we could get more torpedo tubes, but I don't think we have. Oh, we do? What the deuce? Well, if that's the case, we may be increasing the weight by a small amount. We're increasing the power of this exponentially with all those extra torpedoes. So I'm just going to go ahead and splurge and do a little bit extra. What does this get us up to? We can probably do 170 and then just drop it by ones. Okay, so it's probably going to be stuck around here. So we have 2.5, 2, 5, 3, 2. Wow, I really like it. Oh, this has mines on it, which is even better. These are 1 ton per, so we could always trade for more mines. I think 30 is just right about the sweet spot though. So every now and then you get in these battles where the rounds per gun just aren't enough. I always prefer to carry more. This is way more than a light cruiser probably would carry. I'm just guessing they're probably more around 130 in real life, but we're going to carry a lot extra because Well, because we can is the first reason. But also because I find in this game that the engagements last longer, ships don't pull out of the fight as early as they might in real life. There's a lot of factors which, for some reason, for one reason or another, lead to ships staying in combat longer and firing more shells. So, there we go. We'll save this one, the Lalonde. And there she is. So they aren't too expensive. We can get, well, let's just get 3 of them for now before our budget clears up. And our budget will clear up in, 3 more months. Perfect. So that's what I was trying to go for there. I think our budget should kick up a little bit more too. We have really high tensions, which is increasing our budget significantly. All right, next turn, here we go. These guys want to buy some more. Well, yeah, go ahead. Buy everything, Austria-Hungary. Better damage control is very nice. Oh, that reminds me, research. Okay, so we are looking at, right now, the end game for guns. I am going to turn, naval guns to low, and I've never done that before. Naval guns has always been high for me, but in my opinion, quality 1 15-inch guns you can't do better than. I mean, you can in terms of size, right? But I feel like if you can just do the 4-3, 3-4 configuration, the 17 guns that we already see on the THG2, if you can do that with 15-inch guns, you already have a devastating amount of firepower. And there's not really a need for more than this, especially because it's quality 1 that increases penetration and all that. Like, let's just quickly design a ship, pretend that this was a dreadnought. Suggest something for me, please. Let's just take a look at the 15-inch. Well, they even recommend this. And this is a weird design. Just have... Why would they do that? That's so weird. Anyway. Let's look at the gun data for this. Max range of 31,000. The penetration, where are we going to fight? I very much doubt we're going to fight at anything more than 20, maybe 25 tops. Even at this range, we are not going to be... I doubt we'll be hitting belt very often at 25,000. That's probably going to be more the deck. And we're already penetrating, well, obviously the deck is 6 inches, would penetrate anything with that, basically. But 12 inches of armor even at that, and it only gets better as you go closer. Now let's look at the 17 quality 0. So we were penetrating 11.7 here, and the max range 35.5 versus 31, I believe. So the question is, are you ever going to be in a situation where you have the sight, the vision, to shoot beyond 31,000. I doubt it, but that's not to say that there isn't an advantage to doing the 17-inch guns. They'll be more accurate, because the way the game models accuracy, from what I know, is it's a proportion of your max range, which means that the larger your max range is, the better your accuracy is at a given point. So if my max range was 20,000, I would fire much less accurately at 10,000 than a ship that had a max range of 30,000. That's at least how I understand it. So that's not actually a ship we want to design. And it looks like we're coming right up to about the 30-minute mark. I'll probably have to call this to a close shortly, but we'll push on a few more. Always that few more turns type situation going on with this game. What do we have? Probably 2 more months? Oh, 1. Wow, that worked out well. Well, you know what? Let's do this kind of silly thing where we accelerate construction. Just because I want to make sure it finishes. Sometimes they get delayed, and that should decrease the chance it gets delayed. Good, they both finished. Oh my gosh. So this is only really funny because there was a situation that happened, and War Games SA knows what I'm talking about, where I had this naval director who asked me to build 28 more subs. Like, every 6 months he was asking. It was like I had 50 subs built by the time he stopped. Now, I think 21 additional destroyers makes sense. I'd love to build a few more destroyers anyways, so we will absolutely say, of course, sir. And we should get a little bit of budget. I have to say the budget does not at all compensate for the amount of ships you have to build. And 21, good God, is a lot. But they should be really 21 really good ships, 21 really good destroyers. Now, I'm going to make my destroyers kind of cheap budget units. Budget destroyers where you just throw them in, you don't care if they come back out of the grinder or not. Just make mincemeat out of them, but if they get a few torpedoes off, the like cost benefit on that is huge. If they land one torpedo, you know, you can send in 10 destroyers and lose them all. If they land like 2 torpedoes and sink a battle cruiser, so. And we will wait 5 more months. So let's see. Let's do it in October. In October, I will build our new design. So we probably won't get there in this video. We might. Aha! We will condemn the adventurous policies of Great Britain and strengthen our own navy. Fantastic. Okay, 5-inch guns. I was going to say, if we had 5-inch guns before we had 6-inch guns of quality 1, I would have started building some ships with 5-inch guns instead. But having your pick of the litter is better, of course. But we might put some battle cruisers with 5-inch guns, because I find that secondaries on them, usually you need to save weight in every way you can, just to eke out a little bit extra speed. Because I play with very much the British battle cruiser type style, where you go with the heavy guns and you lose the armor, versus, oh wow, look at my monthly balance is back up to 12 million. Gracious. And we need to go 1 more month and we can design these. Aha. Yeah, see, this is what I would like, the 8 guns. They exactly took the design I liked, but they have pretty low armor, and they have low torpedoes. That's 4 torpedoes a side. I'd prefer, we got 6. 6 is better than 4. And we made ours, I think, 6,000 tons, so I guess that having that 1 less gun makes a pretty big difference. We also have the Japanese. They're stuck on our technology. Poor them and poor us. And saving on machinery, that's probably the perfect thing to get right before you build destroyers, because destroyers, one of the heaviest things for them is going to be their high-speed engines. So let's get that destroyer design, and then I'll call this video to a close. I'm just going to auto-design, but I probably won't use this. I think do we have 1500 available? We do, but I'm going to try not to use it. I'm first going to crank this to the maximum speed we can, which is 35. Get these guys oil. Medium is fine. And what we're going to do is not build so many guns. In my opinion, the number of guns on the destroyer is not that important. Much more important is, because let's think, if they have good guns, what do? They possibly sink a destroyer. If they have good torpedoes, they possibly sink a battle cruiser. So that's the trade-off in my mind is way worth it. I don't know if it's worth it to go for quality 1 3-inch guns. Let's just take a look. These guys don't penetrate anything. Max range of 9,800, let's call it. Max range of, wow. Yeah, okay, so the 4-inch guns I think are still just the better option. As I think XTRG, no. Historical Gamer, I think, pointed that out. So it would drop down the speed by 1, and that's going to be enough. Okay, so this is what we'll do. I don't care with a lower speed. Remember, my idea is lower cost. And this is actually the most expensive thing, is speed. In fact, why don't we try to make this a 33 speed, 1100? Wow, look at that. We've cut the cost down just for the dropping of 1 or 2 knots, let's say. We've cut the cost down from about 5.5 million to 4 million. So this is, we're buying in bulk for these guys. Not only literally because we need to satisfy this insane requirement of 21 destroyers, but that's how I want these to function. In the combats, I want to be able to just throw them away. Throw them, lose, whatever. Doesn't matter. Just launch your torpedoes and then die. I don't care. I'd never say that. Admiral Turtle Power never went on record as saying that, by the way. But that's how I feel. And the Arquebus, that's perfect. What a great name. I feel like this thing has just, it's like fate that we designed this. So let's go ahead and, we have a lot of weight savings, but we can put that into, well, we don't really need that much armor or ammo. Wait, oh my god, we could, yes, I think we should. Let's do just a 2. Can we get a 2 in? I think we can if we do a little bit better job of managing, no. We could get a 1 in, but I think it'd make more sense. These are on top of each other. I'm going to clear these mounts. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat. Let's do it like this. So that makes sense. Actually, it might be better for us to kill the rear superimposed. Although they will be firing that on their way out. But yeah, let's kill this one. I have my reasons why. Mainly, the reason is I want more torpedoes. So let's increase the front, increase the rear. Just barely able to get it, which means we can get more ammo, and there we go. Let's stick with 200 then. Okay, so are there any modifications I want to make to this? Director, 200. 3 4-inch guns, which is still decent. It's going to hold its own against other destroyers, probably. I don't prefer anything larger than 4-inch guns ever on a destroyer. And I really don't prefer any more than 4 guns. 4 guns was even too many for me. I'm pretty happy with this. The reason why I like this is because when they're running towards the enemy, this is the most likely when the most exchange of fire is going to happen. Once they launch their torpedoes, they'll either be sideways or they'll be running away after that. And when they're running away, they want to get out of range of their rear guns as soon as possible. So no point in having 2 rear superimposed guns. That's at least my rationale on that. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else. Crowded. Okay, so that's fine. We can just go to clear this and go back to 2. Do we have quad mounts? We're about to find out. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that works just as well. It's the same, right? 3, 2, 3, and 4 and 4. I don't care. So I think this is a fantastic destroyer. Endgame design, you could use this thing indefinitely. The speed is fine. I think that 33 is just, it's going to catch up to anything it needs to. 34, 35, it's a really negligible increase considering we can throw so many more of these. Remember, it's not quite 50% cheap. I'm sorry. It's not quite 50% more expensive to get another one. So 5.5, if we double that, it's 11. It's not quite 12, which would be 3 of these. So we can get, let's say, 4 of these for 3 of the ones that would be speed 35. I think that's a good trade-off. So, save and go. And we have this fine task of getting 1 million of them. Oh, they let you build 12, and we will build 9 more. Which, if my math is correct, puts us at 21. And we'll call this first video to a close. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm really excited that this is back. I've been waiting a long time to get this back on my channel. Why is this one saying M? Oh, I know why. It only says M if you have some that are not M. Wait a second. Is it saying M? Okay, now I don't know. Why is it saying M? Is it because it's oil? It is oil, but M. Oh, mines. It must mean that it has mines. A little bit strange. Why would that be? Okay, medium, normal, oil. There's nothing strange about this. Dab nabbit, I already built these, but I will say there's one thing I messed up on. I would have preferred to do speed, which could have saved us. It would have saved us. Okay, the difference is 200, but yeah, 200 is still 200. Would it have saved monthly cost? Yeah, I would have saved a little bit on the... Wait, no, I want to know maintenance. And you can only know maintenance by saving it. Now, it's only a 10% change from this, so I think that you get you can design this new one without an increased cost at the dock. But that's fine. I'm fine with what we designed already. It's fine. A heavier displacement means kind of more hit points. So anyways, as I was saying, thanks for watching this one. I'm really excited to have this back. It's probably the only video I'll be able to record. The only series, I should say, I'll be able to record for a little while. But what better thing to do than rule the waves? So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you back for the next video.